Step 50, putting the front bumper together and installing it. Okay, so let's grab the AX3112-2 and the 112-1. These two pieces will fit together at the top here. One just kind of slides into the other. And then we'll drop it and do it again. We're going to want to take one of the screws, slide it in, and I used the wrong screw. Ha! I used the shorter one instead of the longer one. Let's double check here. Just looking on the side, we're going to use two of these. Then we'll give it another shot here. Okay, come on. There we go. Get that little puppy in there, and this one in here. And then we're going to put the nylock nuts on here. And then once the nylock nut is in there, we will go ahead and tighten it down. They're tough to get in. There we go. There's one, and two. I'm going to go ahead and tighten these down, and then we'll install it onto the truck. I'm going to tighten the other one down off camera, and then we'll start to install it. But once it's all together, this is what it will look like. The last step of 50 is to install the bumper onto our rig. Let's go ahead and start off just by flipping this up out of the way for now. Just makes it better for the camera. And there is the furthest portion that sticks out on the front of the vehicle, and this slides right over it, just like that. And we're going to put two screws in here, and they're the shorter number 16s, which I tried to use earlier. And you're going to put one in each side. There's the first one. And then we'll turn it around, put the second one in. Now we're going to put the third screw in. The third screw is the longer one here. We're going to flip this back out and swivel this down until it meets this little portion on the shock tower bracket. And there's a pass-through on one side, and it does not pass through on the other side. So let's go ahead and put this through the pass-through side, slide it in, and tighten it down. There we go. The front bumper is now installed onto our rig. It's actually a pretty cool design. This little piece right here gives it a buffer, almost like a crumple zone. So when you hit something, this whole thing flexes in and absorbs the impact. It's pretty cool. So, alright, that is the end of step number 50. Step 51 is installing the front shocks. Pretty straightforward. What we are going to look at is mounting positions. When we mount the shocks onto the chassis here, onto the front A-arms, you're going to see that there's an inner and an outer hole here. They're going to slide in, the shocks are going to slide in here, but we need to mount them into the inner or the outer hole. And on this one we're going to go to the outer hole. And then on the top, on the shock mounts, we're going to go to the inner hole, which is going to be this one right here. So let's start by seeing how easy this is going to be. Sometimes the shocks do not want to slide in. So we're going to put these this way, and we're going to try to slide them in. When they're new, they can be a little bit tight. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm going to use my Allen wrench and put it through that front hole and align this up. And we will install the first screw. And again, we are going to the outermost hole. Come on. Trying to do this for the camera is much different than okay. Now we're going to install the shock onto the upper bracket. Now, as we do this, there's some rhyme and reason here that we're going to do something. You need to get this little part, which is an AX80033-7, and it's just a little plastic washer, if you will. What happens with shocks sometimes is they can pop off. If we have this screwed in and we hit something, this ball can pop out and the shock can come off. So what we're going to do is we're going to mount this with the flange side of the swivel towards the bulkhead. Let's take this little plastic washer and put it on our screw and slide that through. What that washer is going to do is it's going to sandwich that shock cap so it cannot pop out. And we're going to screw this into the innermost shock mount hole. Again, I'm trying to do this for the camera, and it's more difficult. Come on. At this angle, I'm having a very hard time seeing that hole to get it started. There we go. Just go ahead and zip that in. Only till it touches. And that's how we mount a front shock. Again, we went to the outer hole and the inner hole. I'm going to go ahead and mount the second one off camera, and then we'll get started on the next step. And that's what it looks like with both shocks mounted. Okay, On to step 52.